Hey guys, Tarke here, and I just want to give a update slash character concept video for Tarke Quillcat. This is my split arrow Deadeye fork chain shenanigans. So we get +1 chain from Ricochet because we are Deadeye, and that's why we pick a Deadeye, and we get fork from Rigwald's Quills. In a world where Drill Neck is only 50% increased proj damage, in builds which don't double dip, don't want the juicy pierce goodness, Rigwald's is actually a pretty solid choice, and for spam, map farming, map clearing, not bossing, which is what I prefer, Rigwald's Quills going for fork chain builds is something which is really worth considering. Now Findal is been farming with tornado shots, chain and fork, and I've seen a few of my friends been doing chain and fork builds and reporting really cool things with these, so I want to do my little spin on it. This is a Doomfletch prism build, and for anyone who wants to know how Doomfletch prism works, gain 110% of both physical damage as extra damage of each element, so we get this for every element, and we keep the original fizz damage in there. So the idea is you get as much flat fizz as you can, so we use Legacy Meganods to get a nice amount there. Red Blade Tramplers can have up to 5 to 10 flat fizz, and then the idea is you get flat fizz jewelry, flat fizz here, get a pair of steel rings, get some flat fizz on your gloves. All of this together seems pretty cool. I'll do a quick run of Dried Lake. We're on level 57, so we'll be appropriate level for Cruel Dried Lake, and then we'll go into the skill tree, go into links and all that cool stuff. Just so you know the core concept of the build. This is a elemental chain fork, attack once, everything dies. Insert overly dramatic witch voice here. Now you can do this with Tornado Shot, and with Tornado Shot it's very AFK with the way that Tornado Shot works, where you just shoot once, everything splits off into loads of different directions. I'm playing with Split Arrow for now, just because I enjoyed Split Arrow so much on my last character. If I feel like Split Arrow is just a case of I'm doing it for personal enjoyment more than anything else, I will swap it out for either Tornado Shot or Lightning Arrow. One of the advantages of not needing Tornado Shot, or not running Tornado Shot, is not needing to use a Death's Opus. Since this is a Doomfletch Prism build, you do miss out on the extra projectiles on the bow, and also since the Gull is completely and utterly busted helm, it's really nice being able to just buy a Gull, not need to worry about chasing enchants on it, because no one is enchanting them in hardcore. If anyone watching this does have a Gull with some bow enchants, then hit me up. I will buy that in Legacy Hardcore. But so far, I have not encountered anyone selling anything good on them. And not enough people are enchanting, which is a real shame because the helm is completely and utterly broken. So if I did do this as Tornado Shot, I'd basically be baited into using a suboptimal helm, most likely a Hubris Circlet, because that is the only thing that people are bloody listing with these days. And it would just be a lot of wasted defense and or power. The one downside of Deadeye, doing the whole chain fork shenanigans, is Deadeye doesn't have all the extra movement speed that both Raider and Pathfinder has. So if it's something that I feel like I feel too sluggish and I feel like I can get away with the damage, I will spec out of Deadeye and I'll do it as a Raider or a Pathfinder and just use the chain gem itself. Now, the last character ripped with 7k HP, I had 6.3k at the time. And as this league progresses, I am just becoming more and more of a fan of just keep getting more life. So this build has 7.7k HP. Now this is 7.7k HP with pretty good gear. It's not perfect gear. It hasn't got stacked strength on every piece. It's using 3 jewels with life. So 1, 2, 3. Other 2 jewels. One here is a Lionized Fool. Lionized Fool converts melee and melee weapon type modifiers and radius to bow. So what this means is because it's a large radius, these claw nodes, this one gets wasted, but it's fine. These all get converted to apply with bows. This is crit multi with bows, crit multi with bows, crit multi with bows, fizz damage with bows, life leech, mana leech, increased life leech per second. So that's why we get this. And this one is the Blue Dream. The Blue Dream is what gives us our power charge generation, meaning we don't need to run Assassin's Mark. So the way that this build will have its defense, and again, I'm still trying the not phase acro life. I feel like I'm missing out, I will spec into it, but my last 2 characters haven't missed it, and I actually reviewed a bunch of my rips over the last few leagues, and I haven't really ripped to spells. I just haven't really been dying to them. So I'm going to keep trying not with that. keep trying without them, but feel free to fill it in if you feel like you really need it. So 7.7k life with good gear, with very nice gear, with stacked strength rolls on jewelry and rares, you can easily get up to 8k with a level 90 tree. So, come through, get all of the life, get life evasion, life regen, come through this way. This is a crit build, so get the crit nodes, Ellie, get the Ellie nodes. Arrow dancing for 1 point, I'm going to try it out. We are running Enfeeble with a Blasphemy, and since we are a Deadeye, we have the 50% increased area of effect, meaning our Blasphemy will hopefully feel not too shitty. Endless Munitions is pretty decent with the extra AoE, because it also helps our Heralds, which we plan on running, and I'm potentially going to be running a Val Burning Arrow for single target. Otherwise, I'll just use a Barrage single target. For Val Burning Arrow, this AoE is very nice, helps with the AoE overlaps for the single target. If I decide not to run it, then this will just be helping the Heralds and Blasphemy. If I feel like it's not worth, you simply spec out of it and spec into Rupture. Rupture gives you more raw damage anyway. This is kind of like a pseudo utility kind of 2-pointer, and the accuracy is kind of nice. The extra proj is helpful for extra clear, but if you're not doing Tornado Shot or Barrage, it really isn't as necessary. With Barrage, this obviously helps with a single target. But if we end up doing just a pure split setup, I feel like the split is just good enough for everything, or just like a 6-link, then Rupture is also a very good option. It gives your attacks a chance to cause bleeding, and then you get the crit multi and crit chance against bleeding enemies, and also a nice little advantage of moving while bleeding doesn't cause you to take extra damage, which in hardcore, when you stream for a long time when you're being sloppy, is kind of nice. But anyway, so because of the Enfeeble, I feel kind of comfortable running Arrow Dancing. The reason being is Arrow Dancing has 40% more chance to evade projectiles, 20% less chance to evade melee. I'm a ranged build, I'll mostly be playing at extreme ranges all the time. When anything does get up in my face, the Enfeeble plus my natural evasion will be helping me evade those kind of attacks. So the main things which will kind of clip me, like my last build, was that Projectile. Arrow Dancing might be nice for that, and it will also help me with Reflect, so that's why I'm picking this up. Come on, get the life, grab the jewel. Grab the jewels whenever you have good 2-stat jewels. For this kind of build, you want maximum life, crit damage, crit multi. We will ignite just because it's a crit build, but we're not really scaling the ignite, so you don't need to worry too much about double dipping stats. You can just go for stuff like Flat Fizz. Flat Fizz scales all of our damage, that's completely absolutely fine. Get the crit multi, come up, get Acro. As covered, fill this in if you feel like you need to. I'm experimenting without it. The last few characters hasn't felt too bad skipping it. Lionized Fool to convert this claw clusters, as we've already covered. Get the life, as we've already covered. Blue Dream, with this how we're getting our power charges. Come through here, 1 point, getting the 5% max life, getting the all res, very nice. Grab Fangs of the Viper, comes through, get the Fizz damage, Fizz crit, Fizz damage, Coordination, life crit. Sniper is a very good 2-pointer. I'm skipping it to get extreme levels of life. The damage should be perfectly fine without it. If I feel like I need the damage, I can always pick it up. Same with all of the ranger starts. Come down this way, get life, get King of the Hill. Come through, we don't do the leech here because we already get our leech from over here. Get some life regen, 2-point jewel. Get some proj damage. You can go through the proj speed if you need to, but you really don't need to in this kind of a build. Art of the Gladiator, get the life. Come through, fill in Psalm life, fill in Marauder life. We go into Marauder life to just get more life. You get a lot of life from these points, from all the strength, the base life you get here, and you have access to even more life in the higher levels. Because we have access to all of this ready available life and very efficient damage nodes, both at Ranger start and the remaining nodes in Shadow, that's why I don't get the attack speed in Cruel. By not getting that 8% attack speed, I'm just able to get more raw life nodes or just very efficient proj damage nodes. So I feel better off getting the passive point, and we go Oak, passive point, Alira. You can also go Frenzy Charge, and you'll notice that I'm not stacking Frenzy Charges. The reason why I'm not stacking Frenzy Charges is I'm planning on just using a kind of like Frenzy GMP setup to maintain Frenzies. You can run a Blood Rage if you want to. I'll try around with it, feel if I am missing the sustain or not. But that is sort of that. The links for this currently with just the Split Arrow setup would be Split Arrow, Physical Projectile Attack Damage. This scales all of our Flat Fizz, which scales very well with the Doomfletch. Weapon Elemental Damage, and then Increased Critical Strikes, Slower Proj, Crit Damage. Again, this isn't a Pierce build, so you don't need to run the Pierce link, which is very nice, and you just want stuff which scales all of your damage. For items, Doomfletch Prism. It's a Doomfletch Prism build, it doesn't work without it. Rigwald's Quills, because that's how we're getting the fork. The Gull, because the Gull is the best helm in the game. Comb's Heart, because Comb's Heart. You can't afford a Combs Out, you can use a Belly of the Beast, and with a Belly of the Beast you'll still have a good amount of HP, and it's what I'm going to use to start off with. A max roll Belly of the Beast will give you still a respectable 6.7k, so it's a decent enough starter chest. You'll be about 6.5, 6.7k, and then when you can, you transition into the Combs. If you do decide to use a barrage setup, then you do a weapon swap barrage. Doomfletch is very cheap, Wriggle's Quill is very cheap, having that little weapon swap single target is perfectly fine and very affordable. For the amulet, you want something which looks sort of like this. You want maximum life, as much flat fizz as possible, any resist you need, and global critical strike multiplier. If you can fit wed, great. If you can't, oh well. But you want to have flat fizz and then either like wed or multi on your amulet. On your rings, again, same case. Flat fizz is the most important role. Wed is very nice, but flat fizz is more important. So just go for steel rings when you can afford them. Until you can afford them, run corals for extra HP. With as much life, flat fizz as possible, then any resist that you need. You can see we haven't gone too crazy. We're missing wed on 3 pieces, and the damage numbers are respectable. Meganord's Girdle. Get a legacy one if you can. This will add a bunch of flat fizz, a load of strength, some percent life, and increased flask life recovery rate. Make sure life flask more effective. And when you have this plus the Belly of the Beast, you're getting super life flasks. 1 divine life flask. If, and this is a big if you can match up multiple of your resists, run a Wise Oak for the extra penetration. If you can't match up your resists, then don't run a Wise Oak, run a Silver Flask instead. The second you can match up 2 of your resists to be the joint highest, I would say it's worth using. If you can get that global pen on everything, amazing. If you can't, then don't worry about it too much. But it is a very, very nice flask if you can match your resistances for it. Its Zeri's Promise is extra damage. Diamond Flask, Quicksilver Flask. You probably will only run either a Wise Oak, or in its series, I'll probably run a Basalt in whichever slot I decide not to run. Currently, I'm doing a Quicksilver, Silver, Diamond, Basalt setup, and I might even just stick with this if I can't get the Wise Oak to line up, since we have plenty of Leech anyway, that we don't really need the Zeri's Promise. Obviously, if you're going to be doing anything like Chaos Resistance, where you need it, you can run it. And then for jewels, as already covered, Maximum Life, crit multi proj damage, Lionized Fall, and a Blue Dream. Now, one thing I do want to cover, because I can already tell the comment section is filled with why isn't this a CI build? You're an idiot, why aren't you CI? So as we've established, this will have about 7.5 to 8k HP, depending on how good your gear is. It will have dodge, it will have a evasion, and it will have a blasphemy enfeeble. If you did this as a CI build, you're going to be looking at about 8.5k energy shield with pretty good gear. The build's going to be a lot more expensive. Getting good steel rings with energy shield is going to be an absolute pain. The build is a lot more expensive, and you're getting not that much from it. With these 3 jewels, you can go for percent ES on them. That will push it up slightly higher. But it's one of those things with very, very good gear. You're looking at like maybe 9k energy shield. So the main advantage of doing it as CI is doing it for the Vol Pact. You're not going to be any safer against one-shots because you're not going to have the space to be running all these extra auras because you need to run Discipline. You're not going to have to dodge, you're not going to have the extra evasion. So the actual raw health totals is going to be very similar. The advantage is the Vol Pact. You're still going to get one-shot. Like, if you face like a Volatile on a bow build, unless you have mirror-worthy gear, you're going to get one shot. With mirror-worthy gear, you're going to have like 10k in each shield, so it's probably still going to get one shot. The difference between like an 8k life build and like a 9k CI build, the life build has loads of cool stuff going for it, so it's probably going to be absolutely fine. So before you start raging, why isn't this a CI build, just think. In terms of raw damage numbers, the damage numbers are also better on the life build because of the Red Blade Boots giving flat fizz, and the Meganord's Girdle giving flat fizz, which scales incredibly well with Doomfletch. So if you're doing Doomfletch, you have really good life-based items. Also, there's no way you can possibly run a Deadeye setup. You need to be Raider for the Elemental Status immunity. And also, because it's a Doomfletch build, you cannot run Valerium, you cannot run Eye of Chayula. So to get your stun immunity, you need to run either Skyforce or a Kyara's Determination. So you either need fucking Skyfort, or you need a very situational Silver Flask, which is quite hard to maintain. Now, obviously, if all you're doing is just spamming the hell out of maps, and especially if you do a Pathfinder variant, you can keep it up. But if you look at the tree, you're not really getting that much extra. You're getting Valpact. And Valpact is very nice, but you're also, like, doubling the total cost of the build. And the build is already, like, steel rings. If we go back and look at how much it would cost to do this as a life tree, this is in hardcore prices, what stuff currently is worth in Legacy Hardcore. A Doomfletch is about 20C. I bought a 5-linked near perfect roll one for 35 earlier. You can get one for about 20, let's just say 30. So that's like 30C. Wriggled's Quills is like 10C, that's like 40C. The Gull is like 20C, so that's 60C. Comb's Heart is about 150, so that's 210. And then all these other rando slots, like 10C each. So now let's just roll it out to like 250. Insert 2 steel rings, they're like 50 each. Assume you craft onto it. So let's say like 350C for the total life package. Okay. Going over to, and that's with like near capped out gear, 350C, and you have like your full set flask, you have everything. Compare that over to the CI version. So for the CI version, the prism and the quills is going to be the same cost. You then need at least a 300 energy shield hubris with a bunch of resists, and you need the resists, it's very important. You're going to need at least an 800 ES regalia. They're going for like 200C by themselves in hardcore without resist rolls. So like, it's kind of a lot. You need at least 200C sword gloves, and ideally you want them with flat fizz, you want them with accuracy. That's going to put the price way up. They're going to be going for a lot, especially once you start adding stuff like resist in there. Brine Rot Whalers are the best in slot boots for these. If you're doing it as CI, you get the fizz scaling. It's not as good as having the flat fizz, but since it also has got the projectile damage on there, it is very nice. And then again, same jewelry, but with ES crafts on there. And then you can use an Axiom as sort of like a budget belt. But you'd be looking for a rare crystal. You need the Kyaras for the Sunamusi, so that's an extra 100C on there. Or you need to have the Skyforths, or you need to have a pair of Brine Rot Whalers with the Stun Avoidance enchant on there. And you take Heart of Oak on the tree to reach 100% that way, but that's only an on-kill recently thing. And there's all this extra cost for Valpact and 1k energy shield. But you're missing out on dodge, you're missing out on the large radius blasphemy and feeble, you're missing out on all the extra evasion. So they're pretty equal, and in terms of raw cost currently, I would feel much more comfortable using all the gear I currently have, having a higher damage on the life variant, but that is why I did pick life for this particular build. When it comes to bow builds, CI bow builds are very good, but they really are expensive to get going. In softcore, it's not that bad because you can just sort of make do. But in hardcore, you really do need like a minimum 800 ES chest piece, and you really want like, you know, a high, almost 400 ES helm because you want to get the numbers up. But anyway, I'm Tarke. This is my Chain Fork Deadeye, maybe transitioning into a Raider or a Pathfinder later on if the mutant speed feels like a pain. And if Split Arrow feels bad, I will swap into either Lightning Arrow or Tornado Shot. But I really am resistant unless I can get my hands on a well-enchanted Gull. But yes, I'll keep you guys updated. Have a good day. Bye-bye.